This video walks you through the initial setup for the CR3171. When you order your first such unit, you will receive an email from the GateManager, which we use for secure remote connectivity. It looks something like this. It contains the initial one-time password as well as a link to the GateManager, and it also has a certificate attached that you want to save to your computer. Switch to the GateManager and select Certificate. Now, we will select the certificate that we saved to our computer. We want to check the box to remember the certificate, so that when we come back, there's no need to relink it. Enter the one-time password that came with the email and then log in. At this point, we need to create a new password. Click Continue, then Confirm. Check this box if you want a copy of the terms emailed to you. This is what the initial user interface setup will look like. You receive a license for every CR3171 that you order. We will see later how to link it. The next step now is to log into the modem. For this, we need to make sure, of course, that the 3171 is powered up, that the Ethernet cable is connected between the modem and your computer, and that your Ethernet adapter on the computer is in the same subnet as the modem. The modem is 192.168.82.1. So your computer has to have the same initial 3 numbers and then a different end number. Go into a browser and then enter that IP address. Once the IP address is entered, it will ask for login credentials. The user is admin, and the default password is printed on the modem as the Ethernet MAC address. Now, the very first thing we have to do is load the latest firmware onto the modem. We want to check for that on our website. We can search for CR3171, go to Downloads, and then we see here that there is a firmware package available for download. You will need to be logged into the website in order to download the file. To update the firmware, we click here on Firmware, and then we can either drag-drop the SWU file that is contained within the package, or we can select it via the browser. Once the file is selected, click on Upload, and then wait for the firmware to be installed. Now that the software was successfully updated, we can update the configuration of the device. Note that once we've walked through these, at the end, you're able to save your configuration so that you can then more easily duplicate your own setup for subsequent modems. We'll go to Advanced Settings and then the GSM access point. We're going to use iot.t-mobile.com. We want to change the maximum transmission unit to 1400. There are still cell towers in the US that may not accept the default 1500, and we want to change in SIM settings to plug-in SIM. Lastly, we want to change the Wi-Fi wireless settings to your regulatory domain. In our case, we are in the United States, so we want to change it to US, and then click on Save Configuration. Next, we want to go to the Secomea SiteManager. IFM has 3 gate managers throughout the world, and we want to change it to the North American one. In these settings right here, enter gm01-na.ifm.com. Then we want to change the domain to the domain token here. So we replace this, and then we can click on Save. If in the future you would like to get some information from the modem to, for example, display its status information, you want to allow the JSON API so that the display can make such requests to the modem, and then click on Save Configuration. Note that this may cause a brief disconnect of the device. Next, we can close the advanced settings and go to Connectivity and Status. And here now we can see that under mobile, the cellular connection is active, and we have good signal quality. Also in the SiteManager Embedded section, we see that we are connected to the GM01NA. We can go back to the GateManager and after a short while you will see the device show up in the list. The next step is to select it, and then click down here on Find License and Attach Here. You only have to do this the first time a device shows up in your GateManager. We can then also now go into the SiteManager interface, and then give this device a distinct name. You do that under GateManager, and then Appliance Name. Then Save. Anytime the device is online, there will be a green check mark next to it. If you want to check the latency, you can click on Ping here, and that gives you kind of an idea of the round-trip communication speed. And then these are now the two agents that are pre-configured. Now the CR3171 is configured. If you have a display or controller connected to it, you can click on Connect. If you do not yet have a Link Manager client installed on your computer, then you will have to click here to install the Link Manager, and then just go through the steps that you'll see. It will download a file. You have to install that and then confirm a couple of pop-ups, and then connect to it. That completes the configuration.